Hey everyone, welcome to The Zest, the official podcast of Orange Coast Magazine. I'm Chelsea Ranieri, and today's guest is the CEO of Skullcandy, the headphones, earbuds, gaming, and speakers company. He's also held marketing positions at companies including DC Shoes, RVCA, Igloo, and more. Thank you so much for being here today, Brian Garofalow.
Hey, Chelsea, thanks so much for having me.
Of course. So when I was researching you, noticed that you went to Chapman, which I did as well. And then I also interned at DC Shoes in the PR department, like a few years after you left. So small world.
Oh, super cool. We just missed each other, but
yeah, like a couple times. Well, I heard on another podcast that you loved skating as a kid. So what initially got you into that?
Hey, I think that's one of those pretty easy right place, right time stories. So a lot of people around me doing it, a lot of access to some amazing skate spots, a lot of really cool skate shops, all those things that really impressed upon me at a young age of, man, I just like doing this and I like everything about it. The people, the art, the culture, the music. So got hooked early, and Orange County was the place to do it.
Yeah, that's, a lot of people have that I've interviewed who also grew up skating here have said the same thing. So was it just like this wave of skating that came in?
Yeah, I think so. It's certainly been around a whole lot longer than when I started, but kind of maybe it's the consumer goods culture around it really took off. Right, kind of in my adolescence age. So there was just a lot of really cool stuff that you could go buy actual skateboard shoes, and you could go down to the local skate shop and see all these really cool, colorful graphics on the wall. And then, all the pros were here. So I'd go to my local not skate park that was used as a skate park, and you saw in Thrasher magazine, and it was just overwhelmingly cool.
That's so cool. What was the skate park that wasn't a skate park?
Yeah, it was actually called Sadlands. That was right by Brookhurst Junior High School in Buena Park and Anaheim border.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. Well, as I mentioned, you went to Chapman as well, and you majored in business with an emphasis in marketing. What did you love about this major, and how do you feel that it set you up for your career? Because I'm pretty sure the business school kind of ranks in the top schools in the country, like consecutively for years, right?
Yeah, business school's been fantastic there. So, I wanted a good general degree. I knew I wanted to get into consumer goods, and fell in love with Chapman just from doing a tour. Had a teacher in high school who was a big influence on me. She actually played volleyball at Chapman, so she had a really great network into there, and thought that was an incredible school. I only applied to a few, and when I got into that one and got pretty decent scholarship offer, it was definitely a place I wanted to go. And then marketing, I fell in love with that pretty early as well, of liking the ideas around why some people want to buy certain products and some people don't, and thought I'd be really good at helping craft brands and craft consumer perceptions of those brands. So Chapman also opened my eyes to a whole lot of new things I'd just never been exposed to in the past, specifically in the business world, and help build the network. That's been phenomenally important for me. So yeah, had a big impact from an early age for sure.
Yeah, I also did the same thing with Chapman. Like I took a tour of the campus and I was like, oh my God, this is it. But was it the creative aspect of marketing that you loved, or the psychological aspect of it?
Yeah, what's funny is I definitely am very interested and was very interested about the creative aspect of marketing. I think I'm pretty bad at that. I'm really good. I think I'm really good as a fundamental marketing operator. Really understanding how to deploy resource and get the best return on it. What tactics are needing to be deployed to go hit the goals for campaigns or product launches or whatever it's going to be. I have always had the great benefit of people who are a whole lot more creative than me taking care of that aspect.
Yeah, definitely. Well, in 2008, you became the marketing director for skateboarding at DC Shoes, which at the time was a $250 million category for the company, which is crazy. How do you feel your passion for skating kind of gave you insight for your marketing strategy?
Yeah, that's a great question. So DC was totally on fire. I was in the right place at the right time, had phenomenally talented founders in Ken Block and Damon Way. they invented so much really, really cool stuff in not just skateboarding, but the broader action sports, board sports category. The athletes that we got to work with specifically on the skateboarding side were just absolutely one of one geniuses and phenomenal talents. So, my job there is really just harness that power and energy and bring it to consumers. So, the question about my background and how did that uniquely set me apart, I think I talk about this a lot, where lifestyle brands need to have a great combination of understanding how to execute really well, but also having that innate understanding of the consumer and what they might want that they don't even know that they want yet. And really, the only way you can get that is by participating, but more so than participating, by really, really caring. So that's something that's usually done me well in my career is I care about the cultures that I've been fortunate enough to work with. And when you do care and you know how to impact them positively, that usually has a pretty good return to the bottom line.
Definitely. Also, I just imagine like someone coming from the skate world and then getting to work with these incredible athletes. Was it just like a dream come true to have that, to be in that role?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Super easy. So these are my heroes, and all of a sudden you're working alongside them. And I've been very, very fortunate in my career to work with some incredible people like that. But I think the really great people that I've worked with on the athlete and influencer ambassador side, they also have a really good understanding of what people like us do on the operation side. And when you can have a really great partnership, you do end up getting a 1 + 1 = 3 situation.
Yeah. Well, you went on to work as the global marketing director for RVCA. And I saw on your LinkedIn that during your time there, RVCA experienced 5 times growth in sales. How did you assist in that?
Look, this is another example of working with phenomenally creative people. So, Orange Coast Magazine, I'm sure a lot of your readers know the name or personally know Pat Genori. Absolutely phenomenal creative force. So when I got there, RVCA was very small. So times growth, we started with a relatively small number. Now, granted, the growth was incredible, but it all stemmed from Pat. And right place, right time, right concept, pushing that culture forward. I kind of started with skateboarding, went to broader board sports, and then you think about this just broader creative youth lifestyle. And Pat is so responsible for that, with merging the Artist Network program and visual and creative artists into that board sports culture. Musicians who cared about the board sports culture, merging and adding their talents into it. And then you have, more traditional sport and taking people like BJ Penn, MMA superstars, but also cares about that board sport culture, obviously Hawaiian, and so much of his life is the ocean and surfing. And so Pat, with the idea of what RVCA and the culture could be, this phenomenal network of going and making it happen, and then really adding to the culture. Like, we invested so much in so many events and people and just ideas that had never happened before. So that ball was already rolling. And one of the things I think I added to the team and was able to help see some of the great numbers was just more the idea of disciplined marketing operations. You can tend to have a lot of really good ideas, and you end up spreading a pie really, really thin with the resources. Right. But making the right bets, and then making sure you've got a team operating at a high level to go execute against those ideas.
Yeah, I didn't realize that RVCA was like small when you started there. So you went from this like really big giant of a company with $250 million sales to the smaller company. How was that decision made? And what was the difference for you going into from really big to a smaller company?
Yep. Another great question. There's a moment in time in my career where I was actually down in San Diego and had a personal decision with my wife and I, because we're both born and bred in Orange County. So all of our big friends and family networks were here, and we really wanted
Oh,
to come back. But if I also drew the picture of everything that at the time I was really really interested and excited about from kind of a personal and consumer point of view, it was Ruka. And
no way.
it was owning the entire pie from marketing, but a much smaller pie versus just skateboarding at DC. So, bigger role, smaller pie, and then definitely sprinkled in some of the personal happiness with my family.
Oh, I love that. Well, I'm going to jump ahead a bit to 2021 when you became a board member at Keep America Beautiful, which is a nonprofit that focuses on making communities clean, green, and beautiful. So, what drew you to get involved in? What are some ways that our listeners can get involved as well?
Oh, yeah. Thank you for asking that one.
Mhm.
So, you know, I care again, going back to that same kind of guiding principle. I care about the environment. I'm somebody who always has in the back of my mind, try and whatever I'm involved in, leave it better than I found it. So I'm hoping that my children get to inherit a planet when I'm gone
Yeah.
that's at least as good, if not better, than when I was here. And that's a put your money where your mouth is situation. So when I was with Igloo coolers, we make a lot of plastic products there, and we're working on ways to make them a little less bad for the environment.
Mhm.
So we ended up working alongside Keep America Beautiful on a few projects, and they felt that there was a hole in their organization for being able to speak directly to a younger audience. So
Mhm.
they asked me to go join the board, and that was a decision made around, hey, this is stuff I care about. Well, let me go dedicate some time to doing the best I can at helping. Uh,
What does your role consist of?
okay, sorry. Let me answer the last question.
Oh, yeah.
How can your listeners help? Easiest way is
Yes.
visit kab.org. You can find a local affiliate. You can literally walk outside and pick up trash and clean and green your local community. Or you can get involved in a much bigger level as a national corporate sponsor and work on events like we're currently doing with America 250 and picking up 250 billion pieces of trash by
Oh,
July 4th of 2026, which is America's 250th anniversary.
whoa, that's so cool.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Right. So now, fast forward, what do I do for them?
Yeah.
So things like help craft that strategy. What are we going to do with the long term vision of the charitable organization? How are we going to best enact change? And then how do we shape the organization? Who are the people that really drive the bus there? And then
Mhm.
personally, I am charged with being a member of our marketing and metrics administration. So I'm trying to help talk to young people and help us get individual donations to let us do what we do best as well.
Awesome. Well, that makes sense that they would put you in charge of marketing. That's incredible. So last year, you also have, which also happened to be Skullcandy's 20th anniversary, you became the CEO. So how did you come into this position?
So pretty natural evolution. So I was recommended to the private equity owners by the former chairman of the board of Igloo, who I had worked with for the last 5 years, who now just so happens to be the chairman of the board of Skullcandy. Uh,
Nice.
so there were some things that weren't necessarily going to plan here. They were looking to make a change at the CEO level. And a few people felt that I was the right person to do it. So here we go.
Yeah.
One of the things I love is getting to speak once again to that core board sport consumer that is where I started my career, what I'm fairly good at, but then in the consumer electronics category, having a much wider aperture and talking to, in general, just a little bit younger, a little more active audience than the general consumer electronics consumer.
Yeah. I literally remember when Skullcandy first came out in 2003. Yeah, obviously 20th, 2003. And it was like the kind of only headphone brand that was around at the time.
Yep.
And then it was so huge. And then I kind of didn't see it as often until I'm assuming you became in your role. And now my husband's been talking about it. Our friends are talking about it. I see it everywhere. Um, like, what is your vision for the company, and what have you done so far since you've stepped in?
I don't love the fact that you hadn't heard about it in a long time. I do love the fact that you've been hearing about it a lot now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Skullcandy was the original lifestyle brand in the audio space, but the big issue is that was before we had our current mobile devices that we have now. So really, Apple and Samsung have come in, built mobile devices with operating systems. Google, obviously, on the operating system side. And those massive consumer electronics companies have got into the headphone space as accessories to the operating systems and hardware devices. So we have literally the biggest companies in the world as our competitors. So you hear a lot more with the billion-dollar marketing budgets from brands like that than you do with us, because there's a lot of noise out there. But what's the vision here? One, really get back to a core consumer, understand what that community wants and loves from us.
Yeah.
Understand how we can talk to way more people than that with our authentic voice, give them the right product at the right place, at the right time and the right price. And that involves a lot more exciting products and really cool colors with really cool features, and marketed by awesome people that hopefully somebody like you is paying attention to and hearing about from.
Yeah. What are some of the new exciting products? Because my husband shouted out like 3 at me before he left the room.
Well, look, one of the ones I love, and I don't know if we can bring up graphics. Unfortunately, I don't have them in my office, but it's called the Dime Evo. I actually have one on my bag here.
Oh, cool!
If we can see this pretty well, there you go. So this is a fun little product from us that just has this new industrial design that slides open, and the buds are in the case there, and it comes in a lot of colors. And now it's more like a little fashion accessory versus something that you just drop in the bottom of your bag and never think about until you've got to go study or commute or whatever you're going to do. And then we've got our Crusher ANC2 product. So this is what most people know us for. So we have Crusher bass in these over-ear headsets that has this little, where are we here? This little wheel here. When you turn that up, you get more bass in your headphones. We have a haptic in there. So if you like bass heavy music, these are absolutely amazing, and our consumers love us for them. So with those 2 products in particular, we're also doing a lot of color, a lot of licensing, and a lot of partnerships. So you've seen things, and maybe your husband has. We just came out with a partnership with Possum Magazine, which is really, really cool in the surf space. Some awesome colors there. We just did a partnership with Nora Vasconcelos, one of the world's best female skateboarders, and she created a Crusher headset with some of her original artwork on there, and more projects like that. And then heading into next year, we have the biggest product launch that we'll have in the history of our company, which I can't tell you about yet, but I can tell you about it.
Oh, I can't wait. Well, it's funny you talked about different collaborations. I actually attended the Slow Tide event that you guys had at the Skullcandy satellite office in Costa Mesa, which is like in the camp. And I remember when that first came up, I was like, this is so cool. And the graphics on the walls and stuff. Can you talk a little bit about what that space is and all the cool things you have going on there?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of that space, and that event was super cool. So that space is a community center for us. It's one of the things that Skullcandy had lacked in the previous few years is we have gotten so much from our community of consumers, and we kind of stopped giving back as much as we really should have. So we know there's a big hub of our best consumers in Southern California, and specifically Orange County, and we wanted to do something that we thought was great for them. So we built that space as Skullcandy Studios, where we have a few of our staff working day to day. But we built an event space. We built a podcast and content studio. We built an editing bay. We built some gaming streaming stations. And we've made that space available for free to anybody in our community that wants to use it for cool events like the Slow Tide event.
That's so cool. I had no idea that that's what that space was used for. That's really awesome.
So it's so brand new, still getting the word out. But we have one
Yeah.
person, Danny, in the office there, who is our program manager. And you can find a link to it on skullcandy.com, learn more about it, and get in touch with her and book an event.
Awesome. Well, we talked a little bit about the huge competitors that you guys have, but what is that kind of secret sauce that keeps Skull Candy fans coming back?
It's community, community, community. So
Mhm.
we do what I think is a really good job of having members of our consumer community working here. We have X Games athletes, Olympic
Yeah.
medalists, people that just love the outdoor lifestyle. Our office, where I am currently today, is in Park City, Utah. So you can just think about this incredible outdoor playground we have around us.
Yeah.
But we've got people that are embedded in these lifestyles, and we really, really care about progressing those lifestyles in the community that really makes them up. So for us, all about building the right product, telling the right marketing messages to people that want to be part of a really cool community. And those are things that you can't fake. You can't you can't earn your way into that community with a certain amount of hours of battery life or a certain level
Yeah.
of EQ customization in an app, which we have all those things and they're very, very cool. But people like us for the feeling they get when they buy a Skullcandy product and use it and meet other people that feel the same way.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Well, is there anything in addition to the big launch next year that you can share for listeners to keep an eye out for, or anything that you want to shout out?
Yeah, I think one of the things I'm really excited about that we just launched is the Skullcandy Sound Lab. So this is our loyalty program. So another thing you can find out about on any of our social media outlets or skullcandy.com. When you do specific things, you're going to earn points. When you buy products, obviously, you earn points. And then just by being a member, it gets you access, kind of like a frequent flyer program, to get to do some things first, get to do some things exclusively, get to learn more about our brand that we reserve for those consumers, and all of the coolest product launches and even some exclusive products you get first by being a Sound Lab member.
Ooh, very cool. Awesome. Well, we're coming to the end of our time, but before I let you go, I have three final questions for you that we call the Thoughtful Three. So, first, how have your views on leadership evolved during your career?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, I think the views on leadership have really come around team. So, two aspects of that. Number one, because people are everything to not just Skullcandy, but every company, we have to make sure and really understand our team and provide our team the best experience that they can have. The other thing is the idea of building team. We've got to put people inside this business and every business that we know are going to work well together, especially at an executive leadership team level.
Yeah.
So I guess summing that one up is really caring about people and make sure they are set up for success.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome. Second of all, what skills or qualities do you feel have been crucial to your success?
Well, one, I think I'm pretty good at understanding people, but without answering the same answer twice, I'd say the network. So I put a lot of time and energy from a really young age of trying to meet people in the same career path and in the same industries, showing up for them when they needed it, being reliable for the network, and just the standard do unto others as you wish they would do to you, and
Yeah.
that come back and paid dividends that I could have never thought of. Case in point, I'm in my current job because somebody recommended me for this that I had done a good job with in the past.
Yeah, that's so true. I feel like Chapman did a really good job of instilling that in their students too. There's like networking events and things like that.
Yeah, they do a great job with that, and
Mhm.
they're current chair of the business school, I think is continuing on that legacy. And I've been fortunate enough to go back and do some events with them.
No way.
I would shout out Henry, but I really love going back and continuing to be part of that community.
That's awesome. Well, lastly, what is one habit or routine that you feel has helped you become successful in your career?
That's a tough one because there's so many habits and so many routines.
Oh, wow.
I would actually say the routine itself,
Mm.
having a really great routine, really great time management. You only get 24 hours a day and one lifetime. So putting your energy into the things that you really should be doing every single day.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much for doing this. This was so exciting getting to talk with you. I can't wait to see what you guys have in store for your launch.
You'll definitely be getting an email from our PR team. Well, thanks again
Yes.
for having me.
Of course.